From March to May 2021, state cameras over El Popo captured at least 5 instances of lights flashing above the volcano.
2 mysterious metallic objects, one seen hovering above Pico de Orizaba, Mexico's tallest volcano, and another reportedly recovered months earlier near Guadalajara de Buga, Colombia, have drawn a lot of speculation online. The footage of the Mexican volcano orb, gleaming motionless against the snow-capped peak, went viral as soon as it was uploaded. But the new assertion is even more enticing. Rumors are that Quantum AI has just analyzed the Mexico Volcano Orb and that it matches the Buga Sphere. Today, we'll unveil the whole truth. Let's get started. The Mexico Orb footage. In August 2025, a short video filmed from the slopes of eastern Puebla began spreading rapidly across social media, showing what appeared to be a metallic sphere hovering over the snowy summit of Pico de Orizaba, also known by its Nahuatl name, Tepetl. The 5,636-meter stratovolcano, the highest peak in Mexico and the third highest in North America, straddles the border between the states of Puebla and Veracruz. In the footage, the object seemed stationary, reflecting sunlight in a manner that suggested a mirror-like surface, and it emitted no visible exhaust, vapor, or light signature. Witnesses who shared the recording on platforms such as X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, described it as a silent, metallic orb, unlike any known aircraft. Within hours, the clip had accumulated hundreds of thousands of views, and by the following day, several Spanish-language news outlets and UFO enthusiast accounts were labeling it El Orbe de Mexico, drawing comparisons to earlier spherical, unidentified aerial phenomena captured in US military footage. But that was not all. Online commentators soon began linking the Orizaba footage to another headline. Back in March 2025, Esfera de Buga, a metallic sphere, was recovered after falling from the sky near Guadalajara de Buga in Colombia's Valle del Cauca department. Posts claimed that a Quantum AI image analysis program had identified shared structural and electromagnetic signatures between the Colombian sphere and the Mexican orb. But before we dissect these claims, let's get some facts right. No aviation or meteorological records from August 2025 report any unidentified aerial activity over the Orizaba Sierra Negra region. The Mexican Air Force's Civil Aviation Division confirmed no radar anomalies during the period in question, and the National Center for Disaster Prevention, or CINAPRED, which monitors volcanic activity in the region, logged no visual or thermal anomalies apart from normal atmospheric inversions. Nonetheless, the image of a floating metallic sphere persisted in online communities where it continued to be associated with the Buga case and other spherical UAP reports, such as the US Department of Defense's Mosul Orbi footage released in 2023. So, what is this viral Mexico orb, and why are some drawing parallels with the Buga Sphere? Well, let's answer that, shall we? The Buga Sphere. In early March 2025, residents of Guadalajara de Buga, a historic town in Colombia's Valle del Cauca department, reported the sudden appearance of a small metallic sphere that seemed to have fallen from the sky. Buga, located roughly 74 kilometers northeast of Cali, is known for its agricultural lands and mild Andean climate. But that morning, social media posts replaced crop updates with images of what users called La Esfera Metallica. The object, according to those first on the scene, was discovered in a rural area near the township of Chambimbal, resting in a shallow depression in the soil. Photographs and short video clips showed a reflective metal ball about 20 centimeters in diameter, partially embedded in scorched earth. Eyewitnesses said it was warm to the touch but not hot enough to burn, and emitted no smoke or odor. Local authorities from Buga's Secretaría de Gestión del Riesgo, or the Risk Management Office, and officers of the Policía Nacional de Colombia arrived later that day and took the sphere into custody for safety assessment, fearing it could be space debris or a component from an aircraft. Videos circulating online showed uniformed personnel handling the object with gloves before sealing it in a transport container. Measurements taken at the scene, according to unofficial notes shared online, estimated its mass at about 1.8 kilograms. Interestingly, no corresponding reports of aerial explosions, meteor trails, or re-entries were logged by the Colombian Air Force or by the US Space Command's Space Track database during the first week of March. As media coverage spread, so did speculation. Colombian and international outlets published increasingly detailed descriptions. The sphere, according to several reports, was said to be perfectly smooth and seamless, with no signs of welding, joins, or manufacturing marks visible even under magnification. Some accounts added that faint, repeating engraved glyphs or symbols could be seen along its surface, while others mentioned faint discoloration or etching consistent with high heat exposure. One widely circulated claim, attributed to a local engineer, described the interior as containing 3 concentric layers of different metallic densities surrounding a compact central core. Within those layers were microscopic hollow spheres and thin filaments resembling optical fibers, too intricate for conventional manufacturing. Moreover, drone footage from local residents uploaded to YouTube on March 8th showed an irregular dark patch in a field of dry grass roughly 2 meters across. Witnesses described the soil as burned and vegetation within the area as withered or dead. However, later analyses by agronomists at the Universidad del Valle suggested that the discoloration likely resulted from the use of nitrogen-based fertilizers and local brush burning, both common in that region during the planting season, rather than chemical damage from an unknown object. Still, the combination of the scorched patch and the object's polished appearance proved irresistible to online communities already primed by previous UAP artifact stories. Engineers from Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico, or UNAM, performed X-ray and metallurgical scans of the sphere after it was transferred for analysis. No institution, however, confirmed this publicly, and no peer-reviewed paper or dataset describing any findings was deposited in recognized academic repositories such as ARXYV or Cielo. A few independent preprints posted to open-source platforms like SSRN and OSF speculated about negative mass microstructures and topological resonance cavities, but that was all. Other than that, radio silence. Several striking claims soon followed. Some asserted that the sphere's weight inexplicably increased over time from 4 pounds to more than 22 pounds, without any visible alteration to its structure. Others alleged that it levitated briefly when exposed to certain magnetic fields or sound frequencies. Some even claimed the sphere responded to Sanskrit chants, vibrating audibly during playback. Official silence only deepened the intrigue. Neither the Colombian Air Force, the National University of Colombia, nor the Instituto Geográfico Agustín Codazzi issued statements confirming involvement in any study of the artifact. Requests from journalists for access or chain of custody documentation went unanswered. The object's whereabouts are uncertain. Some reports claim that it has been sent to Bogotá for analysis, while others suggest it is still being held by local authorities. International media outlets such as People, The Times of India, and The Economic Times covered the Buga Sphere as a curiosity, much like the 1974 Betz mystery sphere discovered in Florida and the alien mummy hoaxes in Peru that were later revealed to involve manipulated remains. However, the Buga Sphere appears to be a genuine, tangible object that was photographed and physically handled, but the whole story will only be known when the official sources offer transparency. That being said, these 2 orbs are not alone. There have been others over the years. Historical context and comparable cases. Throughout modern UFO history, reports of metallic orbs and spheres have repeatedly captured public imagination. One of the earliest and most enduring examples emerged in March 1974, when the Betz family of Jacksonville, Florida, discovered a gleaming metallic ball measuring 20 centimeters, or 7.96 inches, in diameter while surveying brush fire damage on Fort George Island. The object, later dubbed the Betz Mystery Sphere, weighed approximately 9.7 kilograms, or 21.3 pounds, and was composed of highly polished metal with no visible seams or welds. According to family accounts and local journalists, the sphere would vibrate or move autonomously when placed on flat surfaces, sometimes changing direction as if responding to sound or sunlight. The phenomenon drew the attention of the US Navy, which conducted an X-ray examination at Naval Air Station Jacksonville. Technicians found the sphere's shell to be uniformly thick, about half an inch, and identified 3 internal spherical structures of varying density. Half a century later, another spherical object reignited public curiosity, this time in a combat zone. In January 2023, a still frame from classified video footage taken by a US military MQ-9 Reaper drone over Mosul, Iraq, was publicly released by investigative journalists Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. The image showed a reflective, metallic-looking orb estimated at 1 to 2 feet in diameter, moving horizontally across the field of view at an unknown speed. The Department of Defense later confirmed the footage was authentic and catalogued within the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, database as part of its ongoing unidentified aerial phenomena investigations. Analysts could not determine whether the object was a sensor artifact, a small drone, or a physical sphere, though no associated crash site or recovered debris was ever reported. The Mosul Orb became the first officially acknowledged instance of a spherical UAP recorded in a military theater since AARO's creation in 2022. Archival documents from the US Air Force's Project Blue Book, which covered incidents from 1952 to 1969, and the Soviet Committee for the Study of Anomalous Atmospheric Phenomena show that spherical or ball-like UAP reports were especially common during the Cold War. Many originated from radar operators who recorded small, highly reflective returns moving erratically at speeds inconsistent with known aircraft. In 1957, radar logs from RAF Bentwaters in the United Kingdom described metallic spheres tracking US Air Force bombers, while declassified Soviet aviation records from 1959 to 1962 reference self-luminous orbs observed over Kazakhstan's Baikonur Cosmodrome. Some claim that the repeated appearance of spheres in aerial phenomena narratives may derive from both their simple geometry and the frequency with which industrial and military technologies produce similar shapes. In aerospace engineering, spherical or near-spherical forms are used for satellite fuel tanks, pressure vessels, and gyroscopic instruments because the shape distributes stress evenly. During the mid-20th century, titanium alloys and nickel-based superalloys became standard for components designed to withstand high heat and pressure, such as those in early spaceflight or missile systems. When polished or burnished, these alloys produce mirror finishes that can strongly reflect sunlight, causing airborne or ground-based observers to mistake them for glowing orbs. For instance, fragments from Delta II and Atlas rocket stages that re-entered Earth's atmosphere during the 1990s included spherical titanium tanks, roughly 30 to 40 centimeters in diameter, many of which survived impact nearly intact. Similar debris has been recovered in Namibia in 2000, Australia in 2011, and Spain in 2015, where residents also initially reported mysterious metallic spheres falling from the sky. In every documented case, subsequent analysis identified the objects as composite overwrapped pressure vessels, or COPVS, used in rocket propulsion systems, fabricated from titanium alloy shells wrapped in carbon fiber. Such examples illustrate why many self-propelled or seamless spheres can often be traced to terrestrial technology. Modern computer numerical control machining can produce nearly perfect spheres within the fraction of a millimeter, allowing for industrial bearings and valve components that appear flawless to the naked eye. These can easily be mistaken for exotic materials if found outside their operational context. Spectrographic testing of known aerospace alloys reveals predictable ratios of titanium, vanadium, chromium, and nickel isotopes consistent with terrestrial metallurgical processes. From a geological perspective, no natural process on Earth is known to yield multi-layered metallic microstructures resembling engineered alloys. Meteorites can produce Widmann-Stetten patterns, which involve crisscrossing nickel-iron crystalline structures visible under etching, but these are coarse and macroscopic, not the micron-scale layering described in some alleged anomalous artifacts. Volcanic and sedimentary processes do not generate pure metallic spheres. That is, when spherical shapes occur naturally, as in concretions or geodes, they consist of silicate or carbonate minerals rather than metal. Consequently, any object exhibiting multi-layer metallic shells and uniform curvature is almost certainly manufactured rather than geological. But the online community insists that the Buga Sphere is different. And then there's the Mexico Volcano Orb. While we only have limited information about the first, that's not the case for the second one. So, what really is the Mexico Volcano Orb? Early claims describe the Mexico Volcano Orb as a luminous, unidentified aerial phenomenon, or even a quantum orb, captured by hikers on the Veracruz-Puebla border using a Canon EOS 250D DSLR camera. Within 48 hours, the video accumulated millions of views, drawing coverage from international outlets and triggering comparisons to past volcano orbs recorded near Popocatépetl in central Mexico. However, by late August, multiple investigations, including a detailed fact-check by the digital forensics organization Lead Stories, had definitively identified the glowing orb not as a UFO, but as a well-known astronomical installation, the Large Millimeter Telescope Alfonso Serrano, the LMT, located on the Sierra Negra volcano, lies just 16 kilometers southeast of Pico de Orizaba's summit, at an elevation of 4,600 meters or 15,092 feet. It is the largest single-dish millimeter wavelength radio telescope in the world, featuring a 50-meter parabolic dish constructed from 180 precisely aligned aluminum panels. The structure, operated jointly by the National Institute of Astrophysics, Optics and Electronics, or INAOE, and the University of Massachusetts Amherst, has been active since 2018. The reflective surface of its dish, when illuminated by sunlight at specific angles, can appear as a brilliant circular form, particularly when viewed from high-altitude ridges or aircraft flying over the Orizaba region. Analysts at Lead Stories geolocated the viral footage to the telescope's precise location. When compared with digital elevation models from NASA's Shuttle Radar Topography Mission, or SRTM, and atmospheric light simulations from MeteoBlue, the geometry perfectly aligned with the sightline from where the video was reportedly filmed. According to the Lead Stories investigation, the appearance of the LMT as a hovering orb was a product of optical compression, a phenomenon where long-distance telephoto zoom lenses flatten spatial depth, causing distant mountain ridges and sky objects to appear closer together. The telescope's parabolic reflector, viewed under late afternoon sunlight, reflected intense specular light directly toward the camera sensor, making its circular face saturate into an overexposed, glowing disk. Frame-by-frame color analysis of the viral footage showed pixel overexposure values exceeding 255 RGB units, confirming sensor clipping rather than an internally luminous source. When atmospheric haze and thin cirrus layers are present, conditions common over the Orizaba Massif, the effect can amplify scattering. This can create the illusion that the dish is radiating light from within. To further test this explanation, Lead Stories consulted data from the Servicio Meteorológico Nacional de México, which recorded clear skies and high solar irradiance levels over Veracruz on the reported filming date, with visibility exceeding 20 kilometers and surface wind speeds below 6 meters per second. This atmospheric stability would have enhanced light reflection and reduced visible background distortion, making a static reflective object appear to float. By comparing the timestamp and azimuthal direction of the light source in the clip, analysts determined that the orb corresponded precisely to the angle at which sunlight would strike the LMT dish's concave surface between 1835 and 1845 local time, confirming it could not have been an airborne object. Institutional confirmations quickly followed. The National Autonomous University of Mexico, or UNAM, which operates multiple observatories across the country, stated that no aerial anomalies or transient atmospheric events were recorded above Pico de Orizaba or Sierra Negra during that period. The U.S. National Optical Infrared Astronomy Research Laboratory, or NOIR-LAB, also confirmed that their satellite imaging logs and meteorological instruments detected no objects or radiative anomalies in the area. Both organizations emphasized that the Large Millimeter Telescope remains a stationary ground-based facility with a fixed azimuthal base and elevation control system designed to reposition the dish for observations, not to move through the air. Moreover, satellite imagery archived by ESA's Sentinel-2 mission on August 14th and 21st, 2025, showed the telescope's reflective dish visible from orbit as a bright, circular point consistent with the orb seen in the viral clip. Cross-referencing these images with public databases such as Google Earth Pro and OpenStreetMap further corroborated that the structure's position and reflectivity corresponded exactly to the luminous object in the video. When compared with digital terrain models, the apparent hovering was shown to result from the dish being located on Sierra Negra's summit plateau, hidden from the viewer's reference perspective by foreground ridges, creating the false impression of an object floating above the volcano. The viral spread of the Mexico Volcano Orb demonstrates how optical phenomena can exploit gaps in public familiarity with regional geography and scientific infrastructure. The LMT's high reflectivity and unique location make it a recurring target for misinterpretation. Similar viral incidents occurred in 2014 and 2021, when webcam footage of bright lights near Popocatépetl was later traced to distant aircraft and weather monitoring stations. What distinguishes the 2025 Orizaba event is the precision of the telescope's reflective geometry and the clarity of modern consumer camera sensors, which allowed the illusion to appear unusually convincing. By the end of August 2025, major news outlets, including El Universal, BBC Mundo, and Reuters Latin America, cited lead story's findings, effectively closing the case. The once hyped quantum orb was conclusively shown to be the Large Millimeter Telescope Alfonso Serrano, its mirrored panels catching sunlight and saturating digital lenses. No scientific agency, military institution, or observatory reported any unidentified aerial phenomena over Veracruz during that timeframe. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.